A very good morning to you all, dear students. I hope that all of you are safe at home, enjoying your long unexpected holidays. Now no more time to relax. Our English exam date is announced. It's going to be conducted on 18 June 2020. I think now all of you are well prepared to write the exam. But some of you might have forgotten the important instructions which were given to you. As you know, now it is very difficult to meet you all in person and guide you. Our institution has made this arrangement to reach out the maximum students through online media. So I am really grateful to our chairman Dr. Mohan Alva and the management for providing this opportunity to help the students in the best possible way. So today I am here to help you out by giving you a few tips to score the maximum marks in English along with the discussion of a model question paper. So I am sure that this discussion will help you to recall the things you have studied and refresh your memory. Now we will begin the discussion. See, there are a few tips to score the maximum marks in English, and as you know, it's not that easy to score 100 out of 100 in English. Now if you want to score the maximum, first of all you keep in mind to manage your time well. Unnecessarily you don't waste your time by writing the instructions and writing the questions, and you can avoid even writing A or ANS or answer everywhere. Why? Because anyway you are not expected to write the question, so it's understood that you are writing only the answer, so you need not specify that everywhere. Your work is just to write the question number and write the answer. Then the most important thing is that you have to avoid spelling mistakes, and then you have to avoid the symbols like and other short forms like between, because, please, etc. As you are very much used to the SMS language, you may tend to use the short forms. Since it's a language, you are not expected to do these things in the exam. Then you have to avoid overwriting, and you should not split the words. For example, when you have to write the word Romeo, you write RO in one line and EO in the next line. That makes the word look very odd. Then you don't strike off a letter in the middle of a word. If you go wrong, you better strike off the whole word and write it again. Even while striking off, don't dirty the paper by scribbling it too much. Instead of that, you just draw a line, put it in brackets. And most importantly, you have to write it neatly. Neatness is very important, which will help you to score the maximum marks. Then we'll move on to the model question paper, and here our English subject code is 02 and the total time allotted is 3 hours and 15 minutes. 15 minutes for reading the question paper and 3 hours to answer. Then total number of questions are 35. And as soon as you get the question paper, you have to check whether all 35 questions are printed in the question paper. Then total marks 100. Now in the beginning of the question paper, there are a few important instructions which are given. Though you have seen it several times, you might have not paid attention to it. Moreover, you may not get time to go through the instructions properly in the exam hall, as you will be tensed up. So to avoid all those, better be familiar with these instructions now itself, so that it will save your time. You look at the first instruction. Follow the prescribed limit while answering the questions. Now, just because you know many things, you cannot go on writing. You have to be clear and specific there. And in each section, the expected limit is given. We will discuss it as we go on. Write the correct question number as it appears on the question paper. Even if there is a printing error in the question paper, you don't have any right to change the question number. You have to write it as it is. Then 1 mark questions attempted more than once will be awarded 0. Then answers to question number 24 and 25 should be in sequence and at one place. Here, as we discuss question number 24 and 25, I'll make it more clear there. Then for multiple choice questions, choose the correct answer and rewrite it. So these are the important instructions which you have to keep in mind while answering the questions. Now we will go section by section. The first section, that is, answer the following in a word, a phrase or a sentence each. This is objective type question section, and you have 12 questions to answer, carrying 1 mark each. Now you look at the instruction, answer the following in a word or a phrase or a sentence. Here you are expected to write the answer in a word or a phrase or a sentence, and where you are expected to write only a word, you need not write the full sentence and waste your time there, and more you write, more will be the problem. Then it's better to leave a line gap, 1 line gap after each answer. It will make the paper look more attractive. Now look at the first question. As we discuss the question, you just think of the answer and try to recall. Whose beauty according to Romeo is too rich for use? That is Juliet's. What is the population of the kingdom of Monaco? About 7,000. Name the movement which took place in the Himalayan region to save trees. That is Chipko. Who is the caretaker of Don Gonzalo in the play A Sunny Morning? That is Janito. How many acres of land did Basavaya encroach? That is 200 acres. Mention any one of the places through which the foot walks in to the foot from its child. There are 4 options, you can write any one. Fields, mines, markets, ministries. Whom did Bogus look upon as an intelligent and gracious woman? The answer is his mother, or you can write Donna Leonor. In the splendor of the harvest and of moonlight, heaven lies all over. The phrase refers to. It's a multiple choice question. There are 3 options. You have to choose the correct answer and rewrite it. Harvest and moonlight are no match to heaven. Splendor is only in heaven. Heaven can be seen in the harvest and moonlight. So the option is C. Heaven can be seen in the harvest and moonlight. 9th question. Which animal bowed to the author at Nara in Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye? That is a deer. How much money did the leader of the PUC campaign team offer Roof? 5 pounds. What had stunned the inhabitants of Pudukkottai on the International Women's Day? That is all women cycle rally, or you can write women exhibiting their cycling skills. The last question in the section. Where did the Mahad struggle mentioned in water take place? At the Chadar tank. Now this is a paragraph section wherein you read the instruction, answer any 8 of the following, choosing at least 2 from poetry in a paragraph of 80 to 100 words each. Now you see there will be 10 questions and you are expected to answer 8, and even while choosing 8 you have to choose minimum 2 from poetry. Maximum you can attempt all the questions which are given, and then you have to see you are expected to answer in a paragraph, which means you are expected to write the answer in a single paragraph, and the limit 80 to 100 words, which means you need not sit and count the words in the exam hall. Approximately, depending on the size of your handwriting and the space which you leave, you can write minimum half a page and maximum 3/4 of the page. Even while writing this paragraph answer, you remember to keep some space in the first line. You can leave one word space in the answer. That will make the answer more attractive. Then you have to answer to the question, and just because you know many things, you need not write everything. You have to see what is expected and you have to answer to the question, and then you have to link your answer with the question. Then if time permits, answer the extra questions as well, the extra 2 which are there, that you can keep towards the end. Then we'll consider the questions which are given. The first one, what were the arguments put forth by the prisoner for not running away from the prison. Here can begin this way. In Monaco, a murder was committed. The murderer was sentenced to death and they did not execute the criminal. They found it very expensive, so they altered the death sentence to imprisonment for life. Then that also they found it very costly, and then finally the criminal was asked to run away, but he was not ready to run away by arguing that he had nowhere to go and they had ruined his character and people would turn their backs, and he had got out of the way of working and they had treated him badly, and once he was sentenced to death he ought to be executed, but they did not execute him. He did not complain about that. Later they changed death sentence to imprisonment for life. They put a guard to fetch his food, and later they dismissed the guard and he had to go and fetch his own food, and that also he did not complain, but he couldn't agree to run away. So these were the arguments put forth by the criminal for not running away from the prison. Look at the next question. Explain the views of the prophet on children and parents in the poem On Children. The prophet in On Children says that children are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through parents but not from them. They do not belong to the parents. Parents can give their love but not their thoughts. They can only house the bodies of children but not their souls, because their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow which they cannot visit, not even in their dreams. And parents are the bows and children are the living arrows in the hands of the archer, and parents should bend gladly in the hands of the archer so that the arrows would fly swift and far. So these are the views of the prophet on children and parents in the poem On Children. Describe the role of the forest in Vandana Shiva's life as brought out in everything I need to learn, I need to know, I learnt in the forest. Vandana Shiva's ecological journey started in the forests of the Himalayan region. Her father was a forest conservator and mother was a farmer. Her mother had composed songs and poems on forest and the forest civilization. Vandana Shiva learnt everything from the Himalayan forests and the ecosystems. She got involved in Chipko movement and she did Padyatras documenting the deforestation and spread the message of Chipko. And she says that forest is the best teacher. Now, how is the speaker's passionate love for his beloved brought out in the poem When You're Old? The speaker's passionate and true love is brought out in the poem When You're Old. He says that he tells his beloved to recall the past, and he says that many men loved her moments of glad grace. They loved her physical beauty, whether their love was true or false, he doesn't know, but he loved her truly, and he loved her pilgrim soul and the soul searching for something meaningful, and he loved her sorrows of her changing face, but she did not realize his love. When she realizes it, it will be too late, and when she wants to find it, she wouldn't find it. It would have paced upon the mountains overhead and hidden his face amid a crowd of stars. Now, the 17th question. Write a note on the rivalry between Tammanna and Basavaya as explained in the Gardener. Tammanna and Basavaya were rivals. Tammanna had 1000 acres of land. Basavaya had 800 acres of land. Basavaya could not tolerate this. He wanted to possess the 200 acres of Tammanna, but Tammanna was not ready to sell it. So Basavaya was mad with rage. He encroached the 200 acres of Tammanna. Tammanna did not bother. He wanted to annihilate Basavaya completely in a different way. So he took to composing all his experiences in the form of ballads and singing them. The rivalry moved from the visible to invisible abstract domain. Basavaya did everything to compete with Tamanna. He filled his house with material wealth, but in vain. Tamanna later decided to give up everything and move away. Basavaya died soon as he had no reason to live. After Basavaya's death, Tamanna forgot all his songs and ballads and he became a non-entity. Next, 18th question. Trace the stages of the foot's transformation as portrayed in To the Foot from its Child. Foot wants to become a butterfly or an apple. It faces hardships. The harsh realities of life makes the foot learn that it cannot fly or become an apple. So it feels defeated in the struggle and becomes a prisoner. It's condemned to live in a shoe. In darkness, it feels out life like a blind man. Then the soft nails of the foot change its shape and it becomes opaque, and the toes take the form of reptiles, become calloused, walks without rest, hour after hour, day after day, through fields, mines, markets, ministries, backward, inward, forward, and it toils in the shoe until the whole man chooses to stop. Then it descends underground, and even when it's buried, the foot doesn't realize that it's no longer a foot. Now, why does Bogus say that books will not disappear in spite of modern modes of communication? Bogus believes that books will not disappear in spite of modern modes of communication, because book is the most astounding invention of man. All other inventions are the extensions of our body. Telephone is the extension of our voice. Microscope and telescope are the extension of our sight. Sword and plow are the extension of our arms. Only book is the extension of our memory and imagination. Book contains the great memories of all centuries. Book, its function is irreplaceable. If books disappear, history would disappear and man would disappear. We'll move on to the next question, question number 20. What is unique about bowing in Japan? Japanese have a mania for bowing. Everybody bows to everybody else. They do it with an inimitable grace. It's quainter, formal and more oriental. It is difficult for a foreigner to imitate them. And they have a very complicated hierarchy in bowing. The difference in rank, standing, age, social position are subtly reflected when one man's bow is shorter than of the other. There are some basic rules inside the family as well. Wife bows to her husband, child to her father, younger brother to elder brother, and sisters to all brothers irrespective of their age. And there are bowing girls employed in Japanese stores. Conductors bow to the passengers, and even a deer bows to the author at Nara. And bowing has become a part of Japanese culture, and they do it without any difficulty. Question number 21. Give an account of Roof's role as an election campaigner. Roof was the most trusted election campaigner of Marcasibe. He could tell the mood and temper of the electorate. He conducted whispering campaigns, and he had warned Marcasibe about the change in the mentality of the Umofians. And he also told Roof also told Marcasibe that people had expected money for their votes. He was very eloquent and he could convince the elders to vote for Markasibe for 4 shillings. He reminded the elders about the pipe-borne water promised by PUC party. He did the last minute campaigning on the election day and received appreciation from Markasibe. Question number 22. How has cycle transformed the lives of many women in Pudukkottai? Cycle transformed the lives of many women in Pudukkottai. It empowered rural women. Cycle became the symbol of independence, freedom and mobility. It gave them confidence and enabled them to carry out their daily chores with ease. It also brought economic benefits. They got more time to sell their agricultural produce and they could cover more area and they got more leisure. And it saved their time waiting for the bus. And finally, cycle has become a metaphor for freedom for the rural women of Pudukkottai. Now, we have come to the third section. Answer the following in about 200 words. Here, you need not sit and count the words. Approximately, it's a long answer section, so approximately you can write nearly 1 to 1.5 pages in 2 to 3 coherent paragraphs. The first question, there are internal choice. There is internal choice. There are 3 questions. You can answer any one of these. Trace the incidents where Laura and Gonzalo secretly guess about each other's identity in the play A Sunny Morning. Gonzalo and Laura, the 2 old lovers in their 70s, meet in the park accidentally. That was on a sunny morning. First, they quarrel for the bench. Later, they become friends with a pinch of snuff. Then they get engaged in humorous conversation. Gonzalo reads the poems loudly with permission from Laura from Campoamor. And then he tells that he met Campoamor in Valencia and he is a native of that city. Immediately, Laura tells him of Marisela, a villa near Valencia. Gonzalo describes the silver maiden who lived in that Marisela. Immediately, Laura identifies him and then he refers to the sad love affair. Asks Gonzalo, and she refers to them, and Laura refers to the sad love affair and asks Gonzalo about it. When he also tells the same, she is convinced of his identity. Both recall the romantic love affair and the love affair of the gallant lover and the silver maiden, wherein the gallant lover used to toss a bouquet of flowers and then the jewel, and then Gonzalo is confirmed about the identity of Laura. Both of them recognize each other, but they conceal their identity with lies. Or you can write this answer. Conservation of biodiversity sustains both nature and culture. Explain with reference to everything I need to know I learnt in the forest. Vandana Shiva learnt about biodiversity in the Himalayan forest. She started saving seeds from the farmers' fields and she realized the need for a farm for demonstration and training. Navadanya farm started in 1994 in Doon Valley. She conserved and grew more than 630 varieties of rice, 150 variety of wheat and hundreds of other species. She promotes organic farming and promotes biodiversity intensive form of farming. And she says that Biodiversity intensive form of farming helps in growing more quantity and nutritious food, and it is the answer to food and nutrition crisis. And also it gives freedom from hunger, starvation and malnutrition. She says biodiversity is the teacher of abundance, freedom, cooperation and mutual giving. Or you can answer this question. C. Is water instrumental in social discrimination and disparity? Discuss with reference to water. Water is a witness to discrimination and disparity. It's a witness to the strife between village and the wada in the name of water. It knows the difference of race between the Samaria woman and Jesus the Jew. It knows the subcaste difference between the leather and the spool. It knows the agony of the Panchama waiting with the empty pot for the arrival of a Shudra. It knows the humiliation of the Vada girl, and it also knows how Malapalli was burnt to ashes for a want of a pot of water. It knows the violence in the name of water and the protest of Karamachedu Suvartamma and the Mahat struggle at Chadar Tank. Many battles were fought in the name of water. Blood flowed like stream. A single drop of water embodies the tears shed over generations. And the speaker says that water can give life and devour life. And it's not a simple thing, it's a multinational market commodity. And the speaker says that water is omniscient. See, in these questions, the answers which are given, that is not the ultimate answer, only the points are given, you have to elaborate on that. It is just a guideline for you. Now we will move on to the grammar section. This is question number 24. Read the following passage and answer the questions set on it. If you remember, in the beginning of the question paper, there was an instruction related to this question. The questions are from A to J. There are 10 questions, and A to J should be written in sequence and at one place. You cannot write after A, you cannot write D and then C and B. It has to be in sequence and at one place. Some 3 of the answers you write in one page and the remaining in the last page, no. And not only that, you don't have any right to change the question number which is given. A to J is given, you cannot give your own number by writing 1, 2, 3 there. Okay. Then answer should be in a word or a phrase or a sentence. Then you can leave one line gap after each answer. And since it's a comprehension passage section, we'll skip that. Next is question number 25. Read the following lines and answer the questions. It's related to poem comprehension, and here also there will be 3 questions, and the same rule applies here also. It should be in sequence and at one place. And as you know, there are 15 comprehension poems given in the workbook, and any one stanza from any one of those poems will be asked, and your answer should be in a word or a phrase. And the present lines are taken from I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wing in the orange sunrays. Who leaps on the back of the wind? Answer is there in the first line itself, a free bird. How long does the bird float? That is, till the current ends. The bird dips his wing in dash in the orange sunrays. Now complete the following by filling the blanks using the right form of the verb given in brackets. It's related to passive voice, and you are expected to write the be form plus past participle form of the verb. And here you should not write the answer alone. You write the paragraph as it is, fill the blank and underline the answer. Roof spirits fell when he dash asked to cast his vote. He dash worry and confused. He took out his ballot paper from his pocket and looked at it. He dash confront by the car and head. So the answer is this. Roof spirits fell when he was asked to. He is singular, so was should be used. To cast his vote. He was worried and confused. He took out his ballot paper from his pocket and looked at it. He was confronted by the car and head. Question number 27 is related to reported speech. Report the following conversation. Here you have to remember, first of all, you remove all punctuation marks except full stop, like question mark, exclamatory mark, etc. Write the answer in a single paragraph. Then even reporting, you have to keep in mind the gender, number and the person. And you have to underline the changes you have made. Now look at the question. Alifano, what is blindness to you? Bogus. It's a way of life. In my case, the visible world has moved away from my eyes. Alifano, have you thought of writing a book on the history of book? Bogus. It's an excellent idea. Now you see the answer. Alifano asked Bogus what blindness was to him. Bogus replied that it was a way of life. He further told that in his case, the visible world had moved away from his eyes. Alifano asked him if or whether he had thought of writing a book on the history of the book. Bogus told him that it was an excellent idea. Complete the following dialogue. It's a dialogue writing section. Here there is no ultimate answer as such. You have to write any meaningful sentence to complete the blank there, complete the conversation there which fits the context. Then the instruction which you have to keep in mind is you have to write the full sentence and the full dialogue has to be written, and if you are supposed to ask a question, put the question mark and underline the answers. Mother, can you book a car for me? Son, agreeing should be filled in what the dialogue which fits the context. Where do you want to go? Giving information. Son, at what time do you need the car? Mother, mentioning time. Son, okay, I'll book it. Mother, expressing gratitude. Now you see the answer. Mother, can you book a car for me? Son, yes mother, I can. You can write yes mom or okay, any dialogue which suits. Where do you want to go? Mother, I want to go to hospital. You can write, you need not write hospital here, you can write even market or bank or whatever. At what time do you need the car? Mother, at 9 a.m. Here also you can write any time. Son, okay, I'll book it. Mother, thank you, son. Here it is expressing gratitude. Expressing gratitude, quite naturally after it, thank you only. Now fill in the blanks by choosing appropriate expressions given in brackets. Here you have to write the passage as it is and then fill the blanks and then underline the answers. The expressions which are given in brackets are make up, give up, took to. So dirty remarks were passed by the people when women took to cycling. Women like Jamila and Fatima did not give up. They zipped along the roads of Pudukottai and continued to inspire others. Now, next is related to linkers. Fill in the blanks with the right linkers. Here also you have to write the passage as it is and fill the blanks and underline the answers. The linkers which are given are besides, but, at last, therefore. And look at the question here and we'll discuss it with answer. The general of Monaco asked each of his soldiers to cut the criminal's head off, but no soldier came forward to do it. Therefore, the minister assembled a commission. Besides, they appointed a committee and a subcommittee. At last, they decided that the best thing would be to alter the death sentence to one of imprisonment for life. Next, read the following passage and make notes by drawing and filling the boxes given below. Here it's note making section. You have to keep in mind to draw the boxes compulsorily and fill the answers. And you need not write the passage which is given. You have to just draw the box and fill the answers there. The most complex of all tissues is the bone. It serves as a framework, giving form to the body, protecting the vital organs and bearing weight and strain. It's also a storehouse for calcium, which is supplied to the blood. Now the boxes are like this. Complex tissue, that is bone, serves as a framework. Then bone gives form to the body, protects the vital organs. The vital organs bears weight and strain, and bone is the storehouse for calcium supplied to the blood. Next is letter writing. Write a letter of application in response to the following advertisement which appeared in the Times of India dated 15 March 2019. Write XX for name and YY for address. This is the question given, and the advertisement is this: wanted customer care officer for JVS Motors, qualification MCOM, knowledge of computers, fluency in Kannada, English and Hindi languages. Apply to the general manager, JVS Motors, Central Towers, Hyderabad 56001. Now in letter writing, you have to keep in mind that every line should touch the margin. Then you leave one line gap after each item. Don't write to or from or date titles. Then subject line, you should remember to write the subject line after the salutation. And the common mistakes which are always found are, instead of writing thank you, you tend to write thanking you, which is not correct. Yeah, instead of thanking you have to write only thank you. And another common mistake is yours is written with apostrophe. You should remember yours is a single word and no apostrophe is there. Okay, yours is a single word. Then you have to write, then you have to put the signature and you have to write your name in brackets. Now look at the answer to the question which is given. Before that, the ending part of the letter, you have the enclosure. There are two things to be enclosed. One is resume and the copies of the certificates. And even while writing resume, the resume title should be written at the center, and there should be proper alignment, and then you can leave one line space there and you have to write it neatly. Now look at the model letter. XXYY, your from address is written, then you have a one line gap there, then the date line is given, again one line gap, you have the to address, one line gap, then respected sir or madam. Here it's a salutation, then again one line gap, you have the subject and reference, then you have one line gap, then the body of the letter is given. Then you have one line gap here, thank you is given, then yours faithfully, signature and your name in brackets, that is XX, enclosure, resume and the copies of the certificates. And even while writing resume, the resume title should be written at the center and there should be proper alignment, and then you can leave one line space there. So while writing resume, you have to write the title in the middle of the page, and then name XX, address YY. You should not write your own name and address there. Date of birth, age, gender. In the place of gender, you should not write male or female. You have to specify whether you are a male or a female or even others. Contact number, email ID, nationality, educational qualification. Here you have to see what qualification is expected in the question. In the given advertisement, the qualification expected is MCOM with the knowledge of computer. So I have written MCOM PGDCA. Experience: worked as a customer care officer at Bharat Motors Bangalore for 3 years. languages known. See, fluency in English, Kannada, Hindi were asked, that's why those languages are written here. Other interests, reading, playing cricket, blogging, or whatever you can write. A reference, here this reference is of the general manager Bharat Motors Bangalore, because the work experience certificate is from that particular company. Then question number 33. Imagine you are the secretary of your college union. On the occasion of college day, you are given the responsibility of introducing the chief guest to the audience. Write a speech in about 100 words using the points given in the profile. Chief guest is Mrs. Sudhamurthy, native Shigaon, education B in electronic engineering, and then profile, first female engineer hired by telco, and all other details are given here. And then how to begin the speech. Now when you begin the speech, you have to keep in mind that you have to begin with the greeting. You have to say, good morning everybody. Esteemed dignitaries on and off the days, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the spelling of dignitaries, days, ladies and gentlemen. Then you can say that today we are celebrating our college day. Being the secretary of the college, I am very happy to introduce the chief guest of today's function, Mrs. Sudhamurthy. And then you frame sentences with the information which are given, and then you have to end your speech with thank you. If you find this speech writing difficult, you have the option, you can go to even report writing, and the quantity for the speech and the report both is approximately minimum half a page and maximum 3/4 of the page you can write. And the choice is here related to report writing. The given bar graph represents data about the favorite school activities of boys and girls in Karnataka. Based on the information, prepare a report in about 120 words. Here, when you begin the report, straight away you can use this first sentence here. The given bar graph represents data about the favorite after school activities of boys and girls in Karnataka. Then you have to look at the graph, and you have to remember you should not draw the graph. You have to just look at the graph, study the graph, and what do you understand from the graph, that you have to write in the form of a report. Then we have come to the pronoun section. What do the underlined words in the following extract refer to? Here, pronoun section, it's not that difficult for you, but some of you may find it difficult in the case of possessive pronouns, when to put apostrophe s. So if ever you have the possessive pronouns like his, her, its, their, whose, you remember to add apostrophe s. And the interrogative pronouns like which, who, etc., write the word which comes before the word, before this pronoun. Write the pronoun and the answer. While writing the pronoun answer, you have to write the pronoun on one side and the answer on the other side. Now this is the passage given. Everyone needs a holiday. It relaxes our minds. Holiday makers who go on a holiday feel refreshed. Parents take their leave to coincide with the children's vacation. April, which is a traditional holiday season, invites all holiday makers. It, here the answer is like this. It is holiday. Who? Holiday makers. Their, parents. Parents is a plural, and that it's a possessive pronoun, so after s apostrophe is put, which means that there is one more s which follows, which stands for April. Now we have reached the last question in the question paper, that is question number 35. Here, rearrange the jumbled segments to form a meaningful sentence. You should remember that after rearranging, you have to begin the sentence with a capital letter and end with the full stop. Peace loving was a kingdom, Monaco. How to rearrange it? Monaco was a peace-loving kingdom. Dear students, with this we have come to the end of the discussion, and I hope that this discussion was very beneficial to you and it helped you to refresh your memory as well. And before I conclude, I would like to thank our principal and our technical team for helping me to do this class. And most importantly, you have to remember, you have to be thorough with the text. Keep reading, prepare well, stay safe and write well in the exam. All the best for your exams. May God bless you all. Thank you. For more details, log on to our college website.